Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The Prime Minister delivers his contribution to the 2019-2020 budget debate.
The Social Services Minister explains the reduction in his budget.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquim. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis today accused the Christie administration of handing out millions of dollars worth of untendered contracts like Halloween candy. Minnis revealed the numbers as he made his contribution to the budget debate. Jasmine Brown reports.
According to the Prime Minister, that tenders process under the former administration was questionable.
During the Christie Davis years, millions upon millions of untendered contracts were being handed out like candy on tables of Halloween.
The Prime Minister insisted $200 million in untendered contracts were handed out during the time opposition leader Philip Brave Davis served as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works.
On the member of Kelly Island's watch, talking about you now, on the member of Kelly Island's watch, as Minister of Works, approximately $200 million in untendered contracts were awarded for contracts worth over $3.5 million. But under the PLP and the former Minister of Works, untendered contracts were given out left, right, center, up, down. You know, you were just giving them out.
While the Prime Minister did not go into detail about those untendered contracts and did not reveal any specifics, he did say it was raining untendered contracts under the former Christie administration. Anglerston MP Glenys Hannah Martin refuted his claims and asked him to prove it. It prompted this back and forth between the two.
The member is misleading the Parliament, or he's asserting that millions, hundreds of millions of tax dollars went unaccounted for. I refute that, and I'm asking the member to support his assertion, Mr. Speaker.
I just pointed out, when contracts are untendered, the whole tendering process is accountability. You agree? We could, it's more than that now. Honorable member. Give me doc. I can table it at the end.
This is millions.
Unaccounted for. That's what he said. I want to establish that. Read what you said. 200 million. Star Academy. That's a good one. And yeah, Mr. Speaker. Tendering is a transparent process. If it's not tender, it's not transparent.
The Prime Minister says the goal is to make the process more transparent so that his administration will not follow in the path of the former administration. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, during his lengthy budget contribution, Minnis also announced plans for the redevelopment of beachfront property stretching from Arawak Key to Junkanoo Beach.
We will enhance and beautify the area for Junkanoo practices, so the Saxons would still have their place. Cookouts, so grandma and aunt can still have their cookouts. Festivals and other events, like Saunders Beach and Montague Beach. We will enhance the beaches and swimming areas for Bahamians and visitors alike.
Minnis did not give a date for completion or a cost attached to the project. However, he did produce several artist renderings which show a sky bridge connecting Junkanoo Beach to Fort Charlotte, which government hopes to transform into a green space similar to New York's Central Park.
We would all know where the cannons are located on West Bay. So we use the cannons as a marker. The cannons will not be disturbed. Those are the cannons. A will have a water fountain. B, more open space without a water fountain. And this the sky bridge walking from Bay Street into the fort.
The plan also includes tax breaks for vendors who set up shop in the area. Minutes added that current vendors at Arawak Key would not be able to benefit from those tax breaks until they are up to date with rent. Meanwhile, Immigration Minister Brent Simonet says his ministry has run into a few roadblocks as officials attempt to reach hundreds of people who have applied for Bahamian citizenship. While contributing to the budget debate, Simonet also touched on changes expected to be made to spousal permits.
569 of them we cannot find. We have put the ads in the newspaper for those persons. This is only citizenship and permanent residency. We put ads in the newspaper to find these people, and we've yet only a trickle are coming through.
During his budget debate contribution, Simonet held up a list containing the names of thousands of people whom he said have contacted him regarding the status of their citizenship application over the years, but now can't be located.
I've had the same cell number for 30 years. I don't know about other people, but guy, you know what? Some of these people we're trying to find change their cell number more than I change my suit. And we can't find them. So anyone listening, that we have set up a desk on the ground floor of immigration, that if you have not heard from immigration, you go up there, give us a current email address and a current cell number, and we will try and process your application.
He said when it comes to work permits, the processing takes about 2 weeks. As for spousal permits, Simonet explained that due to investigation, it will take a bit longer. However, he said there are some changes on the way regarding those on spousal permits who qualify for permanent residency.
At the current moment, just by way of background, when I was last Minister of Immigration, persons who had spousal permits for 5 years would be getting permanent residency in the 5th year. I was succeeded by Fred Mitchell. He took that out to 10 years. We are working to draw that back to 5 years. So at the current moment, so those persons listening out there, we're working on getting it down. So for those persons married in 2009, we are working on giving you your permanent residency in 2019 this year.
Simonet said Cabinet recently approved 201 citizenship applications for people between the ages of 18 and 19 who were born in the Bahamas. He said while people may not agree with the government's stance on immigration, the public should read up on the immigration bill, which he expects to bring to Parliament by the end of summer.
Please read it. It is hopefully my intention to suggest to the government and the AG's intention that at the end of the summer, we will lay that bill in Parliament for discussion. So please, everyone within the sound of my voice, make sure you take a look at it. There are some provisions in there you may not agree with, but let's have an open and full discussion.
As Governor General, Dame Marguerite Pindling prepares to demit office in 9 days, the Prime Minister highlighted the contribution she made and the compassion she showed him when he was ousted as opposition leader by members of his parliamentary team who labeled him a failed leader back in 2016.
As I stand here, I want to thank Dame Marguerite Pindling, who I thought did an outstanding job. And she had fit the role, Mr. Speaker. She carried that position with both dignity, pride, and respect. Yes. And I want to personally thank her on behalf of both myself, my wife, and the government and people of the Bahamas.
The Prime Minister spoke fondly of Dame Marguerite as he reflected on several encounters with her during some of the toughest times of his political career.
Before she presented me with the letter of my dismissal, she said to me that this is not what she wants to do. This is very difficult. And Mr. Speaker, watching the Governor General, she almost break down in tears. Because she said to me that this was not right. Yes, he was there. This was not right. And she know the pain that I'm going through because her husband has gone through similar pain throughout his career.
The royal family announced in an Instagram post last week that Dame Marguerite Pindling is relinquishing her appointment as Governor General of the Bahamas. Dame Marguerite, widow of former Prime Minister Sir Lyndon Pindling, has served as Governor General since July 2014. In what he later described as an unintended breach of protocol, veteran politician C.A. Smith prematurely announced that he will be sworn in as the country's next Governor General before the end of this month. In other news, Social Services Minister Franklin Campbell hit back at the opposition, which criticized the slashed social services budget. Campbell called those comments misplaced and unwarranted. Jillian Gray reports.
The Minister of Social Services hit back at the opposition, who criticized the fact that the Ministry of Social Services budget has been reduced. Campbell called their comments disingenuous.
It is both unwarranted and misplaced, and to a certain extent disingenuous. The numbers are there for them to see, but I accept that the opposition has a job to do. They have a base to cater to, and I'm satisfied that they're doing their job.
The social services budget was cut from $39.75 million to $39.9 million during the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Opposition leader Philip Davis recently slammed the $600,000 cut in the social services budget and argued the $39 million budget allocation would not adequately address hunger and poverty in the Bahamas, especially in light of last year's 60% hike in value-added tax. Campbell explained exactly where they made adjustments.
The cut in the budget, the cut in my budget was from personal emoluments. The Ministry of Finance saw that there are persons who left the service and funds were still being provided for them.
Campbell added that in some areas the budget actually increased.
Everything relative to social assistance has been increased in my budget. There's an increase in uniform assistance from $270 to $460. There's an increase in food assistance by more than $1 million. So everything relative to assisting the poor and the vulnerable among us has been increased.
On the ministry's agenda this year, he says, is legislation to protect the elderly against abuse and to improve the lives of those with disabilities. Campbell said they are also trying to reduce the number of persons on social assistance by giving them the opportunity to develop new skills that could help generate income. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Still to come, government obtains the death certificates of 2 Bahamians found dead in Italy. Plus, the nurses union gearing up for a leadership battle. Stay tuned.